Hi everyone and welcome to the first of this week's WARNO Dev blogs. Today we are getting a look at the 9th Division in NORTHAG, which is NATO's US 9th Infantry Division motorized. You gen say with this week's last two NORTHAG Division previews we go a bit beyond. The American 9th Infantry Division motorized wasn't supposed to fight in NORTHAG Command specifically, but slightly further north, destined for Denmark. However, much like its Warsaw Pact counterpart, which we will preview later in the week, they decided the US 9th Infantry Division motorized was too cool to pass up for WARNO's NORTHAG expansion. The division is rather unique. In 1981 it was the first to be converted into a light division within the US Army. The main idea was that it could deploy rapidly and still engage heavy threat forces. The 9th Infantry Motorized Division, I've switched the words around there, I don't know why, served as a testbed to try out new equipment. And as such, in 1983 the formation became officially known as the High Tech Test Bed, the HTTB. It got the interesting nickname by the rest of the army as the Toys R Us Division. Oh my word, do you remember Toys R Us? Is that still a thing? I remember going there when I was a kid. That's a blast from the past. For the weird hodgepodge mix of prototypes found in the divisional armory, the formation was also responsible for writing the manuals for employing exotic and untried equipment. So what about the division in a bit more detail then? Well, from the start the 9th Motorized was to be entirely equipped with two dedicated vehicles. The Commercial Utility Cargo Vehicle CUCV Light Utility Truck and the High Mobility Multipurpose Wheeled Vehicle, aka the HMMWV or the Humvee. It tested the latter vehicles and the many variants that came after, some of which saw actual deployment while others did not, such as the Humvee LOSAT firing high velocity kinetic ordnance or the Humvee Red T with the Bradley's 25mm chain gun. That's a picture of it in the background now. As soon as the HTTB validated a weapon or vehicle concept, it moved along to other divisions. This is how the 82nd Airborne and the 101st Airborne, and indeed the 10th Mountain Division, all converted to a light Humvee-based TONE by the mid-1980s. Notable weapon systems that have passed through this division include UAVs, the Mark 19 grenade launcher, the US Roland, and the Avenger, as well as others. For those of you who are WARNO connoisseurs, the 9th Motorized Division will be a bit like the US counterpart to the Soviet 27th Guards Motor Rifle Division, with its Division 90 filled with cutting-edge units and technology. The key difference is that the American division has a lighter role, although from 1987 one of the 9th Infantry Brigades was inactivated and replaced by a heavier National Guard mechanized rounded brigade, which we will duly represent. So what does it actually look like in terms of the tabs? Well, in logistics it's not super impressive, because while the 9th Motorized is not an airborne division or an assault division, it is a quick reaction formation intended to be airlifted into foreign theatre on short notice. This means that on the supply side you do have access to a FOB and the M35 supply, as well as the new M108 CUCV supply. These units are complemented by a UH-60A supply. I'm confused because at the start of that they said it's not super impressive and it's going to be something like an airborne, but they've given it a FOB anyway, so actually the supply isn't bad. Anyhow, command vehicles they say will include the M1025 Humvee command vehicle and the UH-60A command helicopter, as well as the M577 courtesy of the attached National Guard Brigade. I don't think that sounds like a terrible logistics tab. Maybe it's just that they're going to be really expensive slots. Okay, moving on to infantry. So it's a really good category, as can be expected from the US Army's light division. There are two different kinds of troops: the light rifles shared with the Berlin Brigade in command and law variants, as well as the new light rifles Dragon II squads. They can all be deployed in unarmed M1038 Humvees or the UH-60A Blackhawk, or the 9th Motorized dedicated new M99 8T ISC interim squad carrier, an M2HB armed transport Humvee. That's a very long-winded way to say a Humvee with a machine gun on top. Anyhow, the National Guard provides NG rifles in command law Dragon 1 variants, which is the same as the 35th Infantry Division, in either M35 trucks or the NG M113A1 APC. Engineers will come in command, explosive, flash and dragon variants in unarmed or armed Humvees. Support units will be a mix of National Guard and Army M60s and M2MB machine guns, or the Mark 19 as fire support, plus the TOW, ITO and TOW 2 ATMG teams. The National Guard units come with the M151 MUT, while the 9th Motorized Squads can be deployed in the new CUCV. Military police will also be making an appearance, obviously, in both military police and MP patrol, with the M67 variants coming in an M1025 Humvee military police variant. Artillery tab is relatively decent, with an average number of slots and plenty of varied choices, plus some cool new ones. These would include the M30 107mm towed mortar, the NG M125 and the NG M106A2 mortar carriers. There will be a few howitzers on offer, the M2105 light howitzer, which is airliftable in a Chinook, and the M198 155mm field gun. The latter is divided into a regular version and a new high-tech one called the M198 155mm CLGP variant with copperhead guided ammo, working exactly the same as the Soviet 2S3M from the 27th Guard. Self-propelled artillery includes the M270 MLRS and the NG M109A2, as well as the new M60A1 AVLM mine-clearing vehicle based on an M60 pattern chassis. It is an American, more heavily armoured counterpart to the East German SPW 50PK MRF from the Rugner Gruppierung. So what about the tank tab? Well, it's going to be average to good with a decent amount of slots, medium number of tanks, but lots of powerful missile-based tank destroyers. Tanks include the M60 TTSCP Command variant, with a 2-to-1 ratio of the NG M60 A3 TTS versus the M60 A3 TTS. So basically National Guard and non-National Guard variants. There will be plenty of ATGM carriers, the NG M150 A2 TOW 2, plentiful M1025 Humvee TOWs, but also the brand new M1008 CUCV GLH. This is a CUCV light truck mounting 2 missile launchers with a ground-launched Hellfire, the same missile usually mounted on the AH-60A attack helicopter. I mean, look at the picture. This is basically a US version of a technical, right? Oh wow, Recon is a long section, so they say it's a very good category, second only to the 11th Armoured Cavalry Regiment. Most of the funky units and prototypes can be found here. Existing units featured are the NG Scout, Scouts, OH-50C Scout, and the OH-58D Kiowa. New ones will include the first American UAV, the new MQM-10 Aquila. Another new aerial Recon is the JOH-58. Around half a dozen of the OH-58s were converted with a fixed forward M197 20mm gun, the same as the one used on the Cobra. New ground vehicles fall into either one of two categories: the new M1025 Humvee G/VLLD, pronounced GLID, a target designation Humvee which will treat with exceptional optics, and the new FAV, Fast Attack Vehicles family. These latter units are counterparts to the British LSV sand buggies. They come in Recon, the M2HB variant, the Mark 19 and the TOW 2 variant. They are manned by regular soldiers, so no special forces traits or added veterancy. New infantry scouts will include the FOLT, a 2-man GSR team riding in Transport FAV. The CEWI, not new since they are already featured in 35th Infantry, but these squads will be converted to their proper SIGINT recon role. The Sniper M82, your usual 2-man sniper team, yet one of them is equipped with a hefty Barrett M82 12.7mm anti-material rifle. It has an extended range and the ability to engage light armored vehicles. Now a famous weapon, it was still being tested by the US Army in 1989. It's like my favorite gun to whip out in the Armor series, especially when some of the mods had like explosive shells for it. Anyhow, I digress. Let's move on to AA. So it's a rather average tab with only light and towed equipment. The NG Stinger team, the standard Stinger Manpad team, as well as the M998 Avenger. The M1067A2 VADS 20mm Vulcan gun, Even the Chaparral had to lose some weight in this division. It comes as the new XM895 T-Chap, being a towed variant. It doesn't look very pretty without its front cabin, does it? Moving on to the helicopter tab anyway, it's not so good. The division could count on a lot of UH-60A for battlefield mobility, but at the expense of attack helicopters. This means only a few expensive slots to be filled with either the AH-1F Cobra or the AH-1F Tow Cobra. Air tab is an average category, but note that the air tab is still being worked on and subject to change. The 9th motorized mostly relies on the F-15C AA2, with a few F-16C AA2 shotgun variants for their air superiority. The F-16C is the main close support plane with HE, new cluster and seed variants. The cluster payload is new, bringing a whopping 8 Mark 20 Rockeyes. A unique plane will be the Baby A-10, being the new FA-16 equipped with the M61A1 Vulcan Paveclaw 30mm anti-tank gun pod, 4 Mavericks and 2 AIM-9Ps. In other words, it will be a 4-weapon slot unit. They finish off by saying the 9th Infantry Division is a light but versatile division with plenty of new tricks, traits and vehicles under its high-tech sleeves. And that is everything till Thursday, and on Thursday we'll be getting the preview of NORTHAG's very last division, the Warsaw Pact's Polish Korpus Desantowy. As ever, thank you very much for watching. Please do remember to like, share and subscribe, and I will see you all soon for some more WARNO.